Hi, this is Michael Pariente here at the Pariente Law Firm PC. I'm here at the Howard Hughes Center in my conference room, and I want to talk to you today about a cooperation agreement. What is a cooperation agreement? Basically, what happens is, let's say that you are part of a conspiracy. Say there are 5 people charged in a fraud scheme. What happens typically is when law enforcement starts investigating, they will want to talk to you. Now, if you do talk to them, anything you tell them can be used against you. So it's not a good idea to talk without having legal representation and having the protections of something called a proffer letter. A proffer letter is something that is sent generally by a United States attorney, and what it is, it's a promise to you that if you do speak, nothing that you say will be used against you. In other words, let's give a hypothetical. Let's say that you and a few other people stole $100,000 and you just decided to bury that money somewhere and you know exactly where it is. If you make a statement pursuant to a proffer letter that's given by a U.S. attorney and you tell them that you know where it is and they go and find that money, they can't use that statement that Mr. So-and-so admitted that he knew where it was and he told us where the money was and we went and found it. They can't use that statement. However, they can go and see if in fact that money was there. Now, if you have a co-defendant who, let's say, implicates you and after you've given a statement and says, I know where Mr. So-and-so hid that money, then even though your statement can't be used against you, the statement by your co-defendant and the fact that they found that money based on what the co-defendant has said, that can be used against you. So it's very tricky. A proffer letter is not in any way an immunity agreement. A proffer letter basically says anything that you say we're not going to use against you directly. However, if you commit perjury, which means you lie to them under oath, or you obstruct justice, which means that you lie to any officer, then they can turn around and charge you not just with the crime that they're investigating you for, but they can also charge you with obstruction of justice and perjury. Those are very serious. So if you're in a situation where law enforcement is investigating you, whether it's the federal level or whether it's the state level, you want to have an attorney who at least will advise you as to whether or not you should proffer, you should give information, because the problem is sometimes if you give a proffer and they already know the information based on what someone else has told them, then the information you've given to them is really stale. It's not a benefit to you. So there are a lot of considerations as to whether or not you should give a proffer. Cooperation is also another concept I want to talk to you briefly about. Cooperation means that you want to work with the government and you want to get some sort of consideration. In the federal system, there's something called a 5K departure motion. That means that the government says that you have substantially assisted them in their investigation or in an ongoing case that's already been indicted, and therefore that they want to move to reduce the time that you're facing or give you probation. That's what's called a 5K. It's a motion by the government to reduce your sentence based on substantial cooperation. And that can even occur if you've already been sentenced. Let's say you're doing time. The government would file what's called a Rule 35. A Rule 35 under the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure allows them to request that the judge reduce your sentence. So there's a lot of things that you need to know in terms of cooperating. There are dangers, no question about that. Sometimes what happens is people do get killed. It is something that you do have to be concerned about. So if you are going to cooperate, you need to have an attorney advise you of the consequences, the advantages and the disadvantages exhaustively, because it's a huge decision that you're making. And it's smart to make that decision with a competent lawyer. If you're being investigated or you've already been charged and you're interested in cooperating to try to reduce your sentence, give me a call here at 702-966-5310. If you're calling from out of state, I'm more than happy to talk to you over the phone. If you're here in Las Vegas, you can make an appointment to come sit down with me for a free consultation.